We've all heard it before. The key to success is more hard work. But what if that's wrong? What if working harder is actually making you worse? Most people believe that more effort leads to more results, but the reality is that at the highest level, that's just not how it works. And in this video, I'm gonna show you something very surprising that happened at the Olympic Games recently that completely challenges that idea. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Drolet. I'm a triathlon world champion. I've been a successful entrepreneur for the past 15 years, and I've spent the last 7 years coaching CEOs to help them reach their full potential. When I was a kid, I was a swimmer, and I very quickly realized that the harder I worked in training, the faster I swam in competition, the more success I had. So I built my whole self-identity around being a hard worker. I even had this poster in my bedroom wall that said, "No pain, no game." And I was all about it. So naturally, when I became an entrepreneur, my whole approach was outwork everybody. And to be honest, at first it kind of worked. By the time I was 28, I was making good money. I was invited to speak at Stanford. And yet, every morning, I was waking up with this ball of anxiety in the pit of my stomach. I could feel that I was starting to fall apart. So I started looking for answers, and I went to do a plant medicine ceremony. And that's when I realized that there's an easier, better way to succeed. And ever since then, I've been on a quest, on an obsession to truly understand what produces success in the real world. And I can tell you this, it's not about working harder, it's about working differently. So let's take a look at a tiny country who recently dominated everybody at the Olympics, even though they only have a fraction of the population. If you watched the Winter Olympic Games recently, you might have noticed something that just didn't make sense. When we look at the medal standings for the countries, at number 5, we see Japan, number 4, Germany, then Italy, the host nation, number 2, United States, no big surprise there. But the country that won the Olympic Games was Norway, with a population of 5.7 million people. And what's even more shocking is that if you look at the number of medals per 1 million inhabitants, Norway was 70 times more successful than the United States. That's crazy, right? And if you're thinking, well, it's the Winter Olympics, whatever. Well, consider this. At the Ironman World Championships last summer, on the men's side, the Norwegians came 1, 2, and 3. They swept the podium. This had never been done before. And on the female side, the winner was also from Norway. And if you want to take a look at a more accessible summer sport, then let's look at running. The most successful runner in the world over the past 5 years, his name is Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and you guessed it, he's from Norway also. So I've spent the last few years studying what the Norwegians are doing in what's called the Norwegian Method and applying it to my own life. And it has led to amazing results, both in my athletic career, but also my professional life. And I can tell you this, the Norwegians don't work harder, they don't train more, but they do train differently. So what is it that they do differently? Let's take a look at 3 principles that sets them apart, that if you apply them to your own life, you will reach the next level of success, whatever it is that you're focusing on. Principle number 1, precision beats intensity. When the Norwegians are training, they're not pushing themselves to the absolute limit or see how fast they can possibly go. No, their whole approach is based on something called exact sustainable effort. They do most of their hard training at threshold, which is essentially a pace that's fast, but that they can sustain for a long time. It's not all out, it's not easy, it's somewhere in the middle. And why this works is that it allows them to stack a lot of high quality work while staying sharp and without burning out. And in order to stay in that sweet spot, they do lactate testing. They prick their earlobe and draw blood, and it measures exactly how hard they're working so they can stay in that optimal zone. So what this means for us is that when you're working, your goal is not to push yourself to the limit or work as much as you possibly can. No, it's to find a pace, to find an approach to your work that allows you to stay sharp and produce high quality work day after day without exhausting yourself. Now, if you contrast that with something that's happening in San Francisco in the Bay Area right now called 996. It's a movement where people work from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. 6 days a week. It's very popular in the tech world, and It sounds impressive, right? It sounds badass, but the reality is that when people work this much, quality drops fast. And naturally there's more mistakes, focus goes down, and the whole pace of work slows down. So ultimately it doesn't produce better results. So my invitation to you, you don't need to start pricking your earlobe to measure your lactate levels, but I do suggest to bring some awareness to your energy, to your focus, to your mental clarity. And the moment you start to feel them drop, that's your cue to take a break, to finish your workday, or even to go take a vacation. Ultimately, we're not trying to work as much as humanly possible or push ourselves to the absolute limit, but you do want to find that pace that allows you to stack high quality reps and high qualities day after day. And that's how you can produce real success. Principle number 2, recovery drives performance. Before the Milan Winter Olympics, cross-country skier Johannes Klebo said, "I don't think there's a human in the world who slept more or ate healthier than I did in the last year." Klebo went on to win 6 gold medals. He absolutely smashed everybody. And this points to something really important about the Norwegian Method. They're not just precise with their effort, they're also precise and almost obsessive about their recovery. Their training structure is pretty simple. They do hard days of controlled effort, like we just talked about, but they also have easy days that are truly easy. And there's very little in between. For the Norwegians, easy days in recovery is not a waste of time. It's actually what allows them to recuperate and be sharp when it counts. So if you contrast that, in the world, most people are never fully rested, are always kind of tired, so they're never really at their best. And I really invite you to consider that recovery is not a distraction from success. It's not a waste of time. No, it's what allows you to be at your best when it's time to be sharp. So during the workday, engage in deep focus, take breaks when needed, and at night, really give yourself permission to rest, to recharge, to spend quality time with loved ones, and to get a great night's sleep. So ultimately, recovery, rest, they're not distractions from success. They're certainly not laziness. They're a key driver of performance, and they're what allows you to stack these high quality days consistently. Principle number 3, consistency beats ego. Over the past 5 years, the most successful runner in the world has been Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He has won 2 Olympic gold medals. He's broken several world records. And what's fascinating about Jakob is that a lot of his training has been documented ever since he was 14. In Norway, they had this documentary teleseries called Team Ingebrigtsen that followed him and his brothers as they were being trained by their dad. And what's very obvious when you study their training approach is that Jakob doesn't do hero days. He's not trying to prove anything in training, but he has been extraordinarily consistent over all these years. In fact, he's done almost the same training sessions week after week, month after month, year after year, just getting a little bit better each time. If you contrast that with most people in the world, what they do is that they get really excited, really inspired for a couple weeks, and then they get distracted. Or they work really hard for a month or 2, but they get exhausted and they get sick, or something happens. It's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So if we want to learn from the Norwegians, I invite you to practice extraordinary consistency. Now, when I was 28, in the peak of my crazy work schedule, my dad was retiring from his career as a lifelong entrepreneur. And he said to me, "Phil, remember this, you're going to be in this for 40 plus years. Your career is like a marathon. And if you're sprinting now, you're going to exhaust yourself. The truth is, success isn't built over weeks or months. It's built over years and decades." So my question to you is, can you sustain the pace you're on for years, or are you heading towards exhaustion and burnout? Ultimately, the key to success is to find that perfect pace that allows you to be consistent, that allows you to make progress month after month, year after year, over time. That's how you build real success, and that's how you outperform everybody else. So ultimately, the key to success is not about working harder. It's about working differently. We're not trying here to work as hard as we can or push ourselves to the absolute limit, but instead, I invite you to master your energy and your focus so that you can keep showing up, you can stay sharp, you can stay focused, and produce great days, day after day. Find your optimal pace, stay consistent, and play the long game. And ultimately, that's how you're gonna win, and that's how you're gonna have amazing success. So enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, and I'll see you in the next video.